So a lot of people see many people joining up to do content nowadays, and they think you just want to get online and be on some Wendy Williams shit, you know what I mean? But that's for the small-minded people, those who don't understand the power of these microphones and the power of having a platform. Besides endorsements, sponsors, advertisers, the YouTube and TikTok platforms and all these other platforms that cut checks for content, there's plenty reasons why people should have a platform. Listen, the guy who created YouTube, he wrote a book, and he said himself, YouTube is completely free. So the entry to starting your own platform is free. It costs you nothing. TikTok, all of these things, it costs you nothing to build a platform, build your own network, all of that. So why not do that, right? Because there's so much earning potential. The ways that you can make money from building a brand and building a following is uncapped. There's so many different ways. So somebody who's been an early innovator in the content space, Joe Budden, recently got a write-up in the New York Times, okay? And they talked about how successful the Joe Budden Network has been. Shout out to Polo World for putting this together. This clip from the article where they talked about so far this year, the Joe Budden Network has averaged 1.04 million per month, over $1 million a month on Patreon alone. Patreon, that's just one platform. It has about 70,000 paying subs. Subscriptions range from $5 to $50 per month, with higher tiers granted access to more episodes, including more spin-off shows. 2 weekly episodes of the podcast are released for free to the public. So that means in 2025, off subscription revenue, he will exceed $12 million, enough to make him the top earner on that platform. And this was confirmed by one of the Patreon spokespeople. So you have to understand, he's getting sports and athlete money. Joe Budden was not the best rapper. He was not the most successful rapper, but he understood very early on the power of content and the power of having a platform, and he started up doing his show 10, almost 15 years ago. I know because I've been watching and I've been following this whole time. And I remember when Joe first started, there was people who used to ridicule him all the time. You a fair rapper, that's why you doing a podcast. Do y'all remember when Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill was together and they shaded all over Joe Budden for talking about them in one of his shows and just literally ridiculed him for having a podcast? Oh, with your little podcast. Fast forward, Nicki Minaj is now doing Queen Radio whenever she gets the opportunity or has something to push and promote. Everybody, Fat Joe and Jadakiss, Noriega with Drink Champs, like so many people are now doing platforms and creating content because the bag is here. Simply put, the bag is here. So a lot of people who've been watching from the sidelines and critics talking trash about Joe Budden have then doubled back and reverted and started their own podcast. So you see, sometimes when you are being an innovator and you're the first person over the hill, what they used to say, the first Indian over the hill gets all the arrows, right? When you're the one who's doing groundbreaking things and you're the one who's veering away from the pack and doing things different from the group think, people are always going to point out things and try to make fun and ridicule and even discourage you because they don't understand the vision. They don't see the purpose of what you're doing. They don't see where it is you're building. We even go back to biblical times, right? Look at Noah's Ark, what Noah was doing. He's building that boat. People kept coming along saying, man, it ain't no rain. What's up with you? It ain't rained over here in 30 years. It never rains in Southern California, right? That's what they would say. Tell me. That's what they was telling them. And then what ended up happening? So when you have a vision, stick to it relentlessly. Hold on to it. Believe in it. Eat, sleep, live it. Regardless of how life comes along and tries to throw you off your track, veer you off the road, you might look up. It might take longer than some of these overnight successes, but anything that comes quick goes quick. When you got to take your time and build something, the slower it builds, the more assured the foundation is. So appreciate y'all tuning in, watching me pour this concrete on my foundation and continuing to build. And I'm nothing without all of you guys' help. So thank you for your time. And until next time, you just watch Bandana Blake. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all getting the comments. Y'all remember back in the day when people was ridiculing him for doing podcasts and everything like that before everybody understood how much revenue could be in the game. And Joe Budden is saying, if I'm making this now, watch in 5 years what it's going to be. And I think this is only going to continue to increase the value for other content creators, especially in the urban space. As long as, you know, we contribute in real things, real conversations, you'll reap the rewards. Bandana B. Until next time, I'm gone.